people, it's your girl Adiola. Don't forget to click the thumbs up because you're going to enjoy this video. Just copy the link and share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, let more people watch this video. First of all, would you vote for a candidate that wants to legalize cultivating cannabis, as in marijuana? Things are getting heated up in here as they prepare for their election in Kenya.
They've got policies ranging from helping hustlers to selling hyena testicles. So who are the 4 main candidates vying to be Kenya's next president?
Some of the candidates are really fascinating. First of all, you guys need to meet this lawyer. His name is David Mwaure Waihiga, who's running for president, and he's promising to end corruption in his first 100 days in office.
And let me tell you what is this. Bad leadership that we have had in Kenya, impunity, corruption, wastage, lack of resolve and determination, and that's what my running mate and I are looking at. In our first 100 days, we want to bring it down.
In fact, he's promising to put all the people that became billionaires from the COVID fund in prison within the first 100 days of getting into office. I mean, we need people that can end corruption in 100 days. Do you think he can do it or not? But I think we need a whole episode on another candidate called Professor George Wajackoyah, whom a lot of people in Kenya think is crazy just because he has revolutionary ideas like legalizing the commercial cultivation of cannabis, marijuana in Kenya, and turning Kenya into a major exporter of marijuana. Now, before I go on, I can see a lot of people hissing, I know how Africans are when you talk about marijuana, a lot of people are about to turn off my show because this is a topic of a huge debate, and I'm not advocating for widow, I beg. But research shows that marijuana could actually be used to treat all kinds of diseases, including Alzheimer's, some forms of cancer, Crohn's disease, epilepsy, and so on and so forth. So there are some medical benefits, but besides the medical benefits, cannabis in general, which is also known as hemp, has thousands of uses. Some people will say up to 25,000 uses, from using it in fuel, food, textile. They use it in making cars and even hair products like this popular Indian hemp that a lot of people use in Nigeria, which is why some African countries like Lesotho, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Malawi, Eswatini, Zambia, Uganda, and Rwanda have all legalized the commercial cultivation of cannabis for medical and scientific purposes. So you would need to get an administrative license for the commercial cultivation of marijuana. So I just want to be clear that this Kenyan candidate is not saying that he wants to legalize smoking weed so that people can get high. It's not for smoking recreationally. That's not what he's saying. As a matter of fact, he said he doesn't even smoke.
We in Roots Party, the so-called Weeds Party, or the marijuana people, we are peaceful people. We are peaceful people. We are not advocating for smoking. Maybe you people might think I've smoked weed. I don't smoke at all.
But of course, he's advocating for the commercial cultivation of marijuana, which he says he would use the money from that to pay off the debt of Kenya.
Kenya is in debt, and Kenya borrows 2 billion every day, and it keeps on borrowing and borrowing. So the borrowing ceiling has gone beyond common sense. So I would like to pay off the Chinese debt, and the only shortest way to pay is by legalizing and growing marijuana for commercial and industrial medicinal purposes.
Okay, Kenyans, do you think he can do it? Let's hear from you. According to Prohibition Partners, that's a research and consulting firm specializing in the legal cannabis industry, they are saying that Africa's legal marijuana industry could be worth as much as $7.1 billion by 2023, and that it will be worth that every year. But he's not just getting into marijuana. He also wants Kenya to start exporting snake venom, and hyena's testicles. Okay, so it's because of all these things, him wanting to legalize commercial marijuana, hyena's testicles, and snake's venom. This is why some people in Kenya think that he's crazy. But I feel like to some degree I agree with some Kenyans who believe that this man is crazy. Simply because this man has 16 degrees. No, like for real, I don't know, how do you even make this? How do you even make this up? He studied in Kenya, in Burundi, in the US, in the UK. I mean, there are headlines where they call him the most educated lawyer in Kenya, but there are also headlines where they call him the most educated lawyer in the world.
I would particularly take this opportunity to thank the universities that I went to in the UK, starting from the University of Wolverhampton, where I did my bachelor's degree, the University of London School of Oriental and African Studies, where I did my first master's, the University of Warwick, where I did a master's, the University of Westminster, where I did my legal practice course, and other universities to follow like Babek and what have you.
But as you can see, he's not crazy. In fact, he's eloquent, he's well-read, but he's not your typical African politician. Even in the way he dresses, you could tell. But of course, some religious leaders in Kenya are demonizing him because of his push for commercial marijuana.
And religious leaders, please, I'm thankful to those who came to me and those who are now already pleading with me. Do not confuse society, because some of you are at the starting point of impunity. When you talk on things that are not right, you ought actually to do some research instead of coming out to condemn me.
But one thing I like about him is the fact that he's not attacking other candidates that are running for president. He's actually speaking well of them and showing them respect.
As to our presidential candidates, please, and I beg you, you'll never hear Professor Wajackoyah talk against any presidential candidate in a debate. You'll not see me talk about Raila. Raila is an enigma. Whoever doesn't trust and know and respect Raila, take it to the bank. He's a man that I respect.
Okay. Now the question is, how many Kenyans are ready to risk it for Professor? I would like to hear from you Kenyans in the comment section. Would you be voting for Professor or not? And we'll keep you guys posted about him and his political campaigns. But in a previous episode, we talked about one of the popular candidates, that is Raila Odinga. And people have been asking, when are you going to talk about the vice president as well, William Ruto? And I'm like, okay, let's talk about him today. He's an orator who draws huge crowd at rallies, and he does so well with media interviews. He's very eloquent.
Our plan, therefore, has prioritized the following 7 sectors: agriculture, MSMEs, housing and settlement, manufacturing, the digital superhighway and creative economy, the service economy, environment and climate change.
Now, the issue is, depending on who you ask in Kenya, on one hand, some Kenyans will tell you that the vice president is seen as the evidence of what is possible with determination and hard work. Because he grew up poor, he was a poor man with a humble upbringing, who later became successful and now holds one of the highest offices in Kenya, become the vice president.
The boy from Sabut village is now headed to the ballot, seeking to become the 5th president of the great republic.
Samoei, Ruto!
But I rose from the bottom of the party pyramid, working my way up until I entered party leadership and eventually became a member of the National Assembly at the age of 31.
And then on the other hand, you have some Kenyans who would tell you that, well, this man is shadowed by allegations of corruption and land grabbing over the years. So it depends on who you talk to in Kenya. William Ruto, the vice president, has faced several allegations of corruption and has had to explain the source of his wealth over and over again. People are always throwing it in his face.
Why is this issue of wealth
a requirement?
A very big issue when you have William Ruto. You never ask anybody else.
No.
I declare wealth every 2 years as required by law. Every Kenyan will know what William Ruto owns.
His former ally, Raila Odinga, or let me say his former friend, because they used to be together, they were trying to take over from Kibaki at the time. The man has now accused the vice president of corruption, questioning the sources of his funds, and several of his allies and his aides have also been forced to resign amid corruption scandals. But he insists that he's only being targeted because he no longer supports Odinga, because now they're both running for president. So he's saying that he's just being targeted by enemies of progress. He said, bad belle people. But he's not the only one that has been accused of corruption. Guess what? His running mate, that is Mr. Gachagua, he's also been accused of corruption. And he's even facing trial charges on money laundering worth $65 million, which he has denied. Now, an opinion poll in Kenya in 2018 ranked the Vice President William Ruto as the most corrupt politician in Kenya. That was a public poll in Kenya, which he said was fake news. But keep in mind that that same poll had Uhuru Kenyatta, the president, and Raila Odinga, who is also running, on the most corrupt politicians list. So one thing that we've learned is that they're all viewed as corrupt. It's just a matter of some people have been seen as more corrupt than others. And as expected, they always deny it.
You know, you must be corrupt. You must be this. You must be this. My friend, let me tell you, please, let us accept that there are children of people from humble background who, through hard work, through doing diligently what they are doing, they have gotten themselves somewhere.
Don't forget that the vice president, the president Uhuru Kenyatta, were once taken to international criminal courts, but now their names have been cleared.
In 2012, Ruto teamed up with President Uhuru Kenyatta, his co-accused in the ICC, to form a formidable force of a dynamic duo, which clinched power in 2013 to run government for 2 terms. The duo in 2017 defeated Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka.
Meanwhile, the president is not hiding the fact that he is not supporting his vice president in this coming election. He doesn't want the vice president to succeed him. He is openly supporting his former opponent, that is Raila Odinga, and we talked about that in the past. By the way, both the vice president Ruto and Odinga are making similar promises as elections are getting close.
It has been costed by our experts. We know exactly where the income is coming from, which is going to fund the program that we are going to release.
We are going to commit 50 billion shillings every year to the Hustler Fund.
But then, of course, some Kenyans are saying that they make the same promises every 4 years without actually fulfilling them.
None of the two disclose any ideology, concrete policy programs. It is simply sloganeering and throwing money at problems. None of them talk about the real issues, which is creating wealth, generating jobs, creating employment.
Charlie, we experience the same thing in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. This is how they keep promising. And people are saying, okay, we'll see it when we believe it. Elections are coming up on August 9th.
The registered voters, again, 22.12 million registered voters. This will start to be tabulated as soon as we're able to get results. But of course, the final arbiter in this game or in this exercise is the IEBC. They are the ones that will be conducting the elections in terms of the official managing, in terms of counting, the tallying, the collation, the verification, and eventually the announcement and declaration of all the elections.
My Kenyan people, who are you voting for? Let us know in the comment section. Kenyan election is very, very interesting. We cannot wait. And of course, we'll keep updating you guys. You guys not doing much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.